Fast and Furious 8, aka The Fate of the Furious, starts in Cuba. Dom and Letty are informed that their cousin is in trouble. This Raldo guy tries to take his car, so Dom challenges him to a race and kicks his riding on a reverse gear. So he earns some street credit around here and some fans. I mean, look at this bimbo. And while we are at a freeze frame checking out the extras, this guy over here, totally stoned or what? Anyways, Dom gives his car to his cousin as he burned his during the race. Then he and Letty are talking about starting a family. Day after, Dom meets Charlize Theron on spring break. Turns out, she is actually Cipher, and she shows him something that is supposed to make him work for her and betray his friends. Looks like it kinda works. Meanwhile, Hobbs is coaching his daughter's soccer team, making them do haka. Agent shows up telling him that Damocles 7 EMP weapon that went missing was found in Berlin. He is sent there without an official authorization at his own risk. Hobbs calls Dom and asks him for help. Next thing we see is Fast and Furious on a mission in Berlin. It's going great until Dom smashes into Hobbs' car. He steals the weapon they were after and walks away. He jumps on a plane and delivers goods to Shaw. Tej hacks his phone records and finds some calls with an untraceable number. Since the mission was unofficial, Hobbs gets arrested and Mr. Nobody meets him and offers work in return for clearing his record. Hobbs refuses and gets locked in prison where he meets Deckard Shaw. Long story short, they have a lot of time to meet each other, good enough to gain their own spin-off soon. Meanwhile, Dom gets to meet Cipher a bit better and looks like she is a fan dropping lines from the first movie and shit. Mr. Nobody opens Hobbs' cell, giving him a chance to escape. Actually, that turns into a full-scale riot, and eventually Shaw gets out and Hobbs goes after him. It ends with Mr. Nobody captured both of them. In his base, he already gathered Fast and Furious. Nobody tells them that Dom and Cipher are working together. Also, he tells them that Shaw is now part of a team. Turns out he got screwed by Cipher, so that's good enough to form an alliance. They use God's Eye to track down Dom and find him well, exactly where they are. Dom and Cipher break into the building. Shaw proves his loyalty by saving Ramsey's life. Cipher kisses Dom in front of Letty and they leave the place. Turns out Cipher is holding Elena and that's why Dom is cooperating with her. Wait! That's not all. Elena shows Dom his baby. Turns out she got pregnant while they had that summer romance thinking Letty was dead. Now that's a plot twist. Shaw traces Dom in New York. They go there and get equipped with cars by the agency. Cipher watches Dom through God's Eye, but he manages to cut loose and meets with Magdalene Shaw. Yeah, she raised those two gentlemen from previous films. They have this parent-to-parent conversation and make a deal. Hobbs and Shaw are getting along a bit better as Deckard turns out to be a war hero if you look closely into his files. Cipher plans to strike on a Russian diplomatic convoy. Her hackers take over traffic cars in the city and remotely cause a crack-up. Then Dom breaks through and steals the case with the launching codes. Fast and Furious go after him and Letty manages to hook him with her car. The rest joins and they actually pin him down. Things get nasty out there and Dom shoots Shaw but Letty grabs the case. Dom can't shoot her but this guy Rhodes shows up and puts a gun into her head. Dom takes the case and they leave. Now Cipher has weapon and lunch codes. Still, she is mad at Dom for what he did, so Rhodes kills Elena to punish him. Fast and Furious learn that Rhodes, who also worked for Shaw's brother and Jakande, now works for Cipher. Mr. Nobody tells them there is a secret nuclear base in Russia taken over by terrorists, so they take their cars there. They spot Dom driving forward the base. He takes down the power supplies and breaks through the gates. Long story short, he takes over the whole military base with just a car. Cipher takes control over a nuclear submarine. Fast and Furious try to stop Cipher from stealing that sub, while both sides are also fighting with those separatists who took over the base in the first place. Ramsey is having a hacking duel with Cipher and she wins, arming those missiles. Meanwhile, Roman is on a submarine trying to shut it down manually. Luckily, he finds the chip and stops the launch. Cipher still wants to steal that submarine though. Rhodes gets ordered to take out the whole Fast and Furious team. Tej uses the tank to take down the terrorists, but Cipher soldiers are still after them. At this point, it's basically a regular battle at the open ice. Rhodes tells Dom he will take down Letty as first, but at the same time, two masked men manage to break into Cipher's plane. Turns out it's Shaw brothers. Cipher thought that Dom killed Deckard back in New York, but actually it was part of the arrangement he had with Mrs. Shaw. Shaw secured Dom's son on the plane, so now Toretto is no longer a hostage. Dom takes down Rhodes, then he joins his crew in the battle while Shaw makes his way out of that plane with the baby. Cipher decides to strike from under the ice with that submarine, and she fires a heat-seeker missile on Dom, but he drives smart enough to redirect its course right on that submarine. Meanwhile, Deckard approaches Cipher, but she takes the last parachute and jumps out of the plane. Shaw decides to let her go. Crew gets back to New York and has a barbecue on a roof. Mr. Nobody shows up and tells Cipher is probably in Athens. He also gives Hobbs back his badge, but he actually decides to take a break from being Captain America. Shaw brings Dom his son and they shake hands. Toretto finally gets to hold his kid. He promises Elena to keep him safe and introduces him to the crew, telling them his name is Brian. And that's how the film ends.